Dale. Today it is balmy 7 degrees outside, so it's much warmer than it was yesterday, and I'm sure looking forward to those 50, 60 degrees that they've got in the forecast next week. Today we're going to be talking about Packard connectors, uh, weather packs, as most people know them as. So with that, let's get started on it and make this a nice short video just to cover that particular kind of connector. All right, first my tools we use for the weather packs is the crimping tool. I use number 4, primarily on automotive. That does your 16-14 gauge. The 2 round ones here, that crimps your terminal to the silicone seal, as you'll see here in a minute. Don't really use my crimping tool very much except just for the wire cutter and then our wire stripper here. So that's all you need as far as tools go. Now I'm going to show you a couple here. I'm going to the super seal that making it goes. There's other companies make it or sell it, call it different, but I think the initially it was called a super seal. Now this is a 6 gang here. I've seen these go up to 12s, the same way with the Packards, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So on the Packard or the Delphi would be now, it uses what they call TCP. That's a piece of plastic that snaps over the back once you get it assembled. It holds everything together. These, let me get one this part here and pop this out. It has what they call an anti-backout device. So once you get your terminals put in, and when they go in, you'll see when we do this one, it'll actually click, have a pretty audible click to it. But this is your anti-backout device. So once everything's together and you got all your wires in, then you push your anti-lock or backout device there, and it locks everything into place. And that will hold it. And if you need to pull a wire back out, you simply snap this piece up out of here, and then you use a tool that looks like let me get the right one here. Looks like this one, and you just push it down in around the terminal and release it and pull it out. They're a little bit more difficult than the Delphi ones. Delphi or Packard, or most people know them by Packard, but anymore when you're looking for them, Delphi is what they've got them named. But they look like this right here, and these 2 little prongs right here, one on each side, is what snaps into that housing and holds it in place. So to get it out, you just use a round one like this, and then it'll go down over the top and push down onto those 2 pieces that are holding it in, and you can just snap it right out. It's very easy to pull them in and out of the housing, and like I say, the super seal is a little bit more difficult. But one thing I like about the super seals is that when it's together, you don't have that TCP snap down on the top. So when you go to if you're going to detail under the hood, these clean a whole lot easier, and I like that. Now you have to use the Delphi units if you're going to be running one, say, to a throttle positioning sensor or an oxygen sensor or whatever it is. These won't work for that in most of them. Some of the oxygen sensors I've used these, but majority of the time you have to go to Delphi. Now, buying the Delphi style or the Packard style, I have found Napa is reasonably priced. Plus, you don't have to buy 100 terminals at a time. You can just buy one at a time if you want, so you can just get the number you need. Normally, most people don't need those in bulk if you're doing it yourself. Plus, they have all the plastic housings, most of them. Shouldn't say all, but they have the majority of the plastic housings. So with that, I think I've covered everything. Uh, we'll wire this one together here, but the one thing to remember, both with the Delphi and with this Super Seal style, is that you want to remember you're marrying your terminal to your housing. So if you've got a male housing, you're going to marry it to a female terminal. And the same goes with the other side. So you're going to have a female housing, and then you're going to put your male terminal on it. So with that, I'm going to wire this up real quick for you, show you. Cut this off here, just sure. Now, 1/4 of an inch is what you're supposed to leave. Now, my wire strippers that I got right here, if I bring that wire out to this edge right here and pull it out, I've got exactly the amount that I need. Now, when I went to school years ago, when the Packard terminals first came out, they said always cut a brand new square off of your, so squared up off of your wire. And I got one little straggler there. Get out of there. There we go. So it's going to look like that. We're going to take the silicone seal, and it goes on. I'll get my fingers out of the way here in a minute, but it goes on like this. And the end of that seal right there goes to the end of the insulation. So it lines up just like that. Then we're going to take our terminal. I'm going to put it on there, and that wire just slips up underneath this piece right here. Now we're going to crimp over this and this. We're going to start with the one for around the insulation. Go up and get started there. Okay. Then we crimp it like that. That's crimped the insulation. Then we're going to go to number 4 here and bring it in just like that. And that will crimp that one down. And you just bring it down until those pliers end. I actually have a pair of Packard GM ones here that ratchet that I've had for years, but I like using these better. I have better luck with those. All right, so that's all there is to doing that. So then we come up to our female side, come in from here, and I got that. I think I put it in upside down. So that goes into here. I can get it in there in the right direction. Okay, I'm fighting with it now. Always happens when the camera's on, doesn't it? There it goes. I was talking while it clicked too, but you could hear that click. It's very audible. And it'll click in place, and then see it's got that anti-backout device. So you just take a screwdriver and push that down in there, and that's it. It's in there. It's good and solid. And then I generally will make sure that silicone seal is seated all the way down. Just use a small screwdriver and push it down in there and make sure it's seated. And that is all there is to it. So there you've got a nice clean connection. And I say it's just a nice piece. And then you can buy a little clip that you can screw to something, and slide this portion over that clip so it'll be stationary as well if you've got something that you want that into. Now I cut this one in half. Hopefully you can see it. It's yeah, right here this is the piece that the terminal clicks around, is this little black piece right here. So that's the piece that, I don't know if you can see it or not, probably gonna say not, but that's the piece when you're taking your tool here, this one, and you're placing it down in there. It's going to go over the top of that just like that and release it, and you can pull the terminal out. So that's how that is designed. It's just like that. All right, real quick, I'm going to go over bulkhead. Now, this is a Delphi unit. Everybody's brother's selling them under their own name, but that's what it is. You know, I was buying these off of, I think, Amazon for around $30. The cheapest thing, I just bought this one, I think it was $49. So in a year, it increased in price that much. But it is well worth it. So this side here, you drill a hole, hole saw it in your firewall, this size. This side comes from the inside of the cab through the firewall, and then you just use 2 nuts, drill a hole for each one of these. Use nuts and washers and tighten that up. And then this here, it'll go in, get it in the right spot there, and it'll go together just like that. It uses this bolt here, and it screws down through this nut back here, pulls it all together, makes a complete weather tight seal. And then again, it uses the same weather packs, just different style how they're locked into place. The kit comes with all your seals here, plus these green ones are plugs, so holes that you don't use. That's a 21 terminal. So if you don't use all 21 terminals, you plug up the holes with these right there. And then when everything's together, you have all your wires in place, then this is your retainer here, and goes in here. Yeah, one way or the other, it goes in, slides in. I don't want to lock it in place because they're kind of hard to, but slides in like that. And there's one that goes on each side of that, and that holds all your wires into place. And you do that on both sides, so you end up with a very solid piece. And the thing I like about these, say you got taillights that aren't working, and this is your terminal for your taillights right here. So you can turn your headlights on and see if you've got a good clean 12 volts coming out this terminal that's going back to taillights. And if you do, then you know it's from outside the cab going to the back. So then you come in with that, and you take your same terminals going to your taillights. You apply 12 volts to it. Now on another video but I've got a tool that you can hook up, and it'll sniff out for any opens on a wire. So you can run 12 volts down through there and sniff it out, find where the problem is. And that way you can just narrow it down really quick to that. Of course, it's not going to find your ground, because like on your taillights, it's probably the first thing you should go looking for. But it's a lot easier to trace out any problems that you have electrically. You can trace them out so much easier by being able to dismantle that way. Not only that, but that thing, when it's in there, it looks so professional. And once that's in there, it's gonna be trouble free for many, many, many years. So with that, I think I covered it all. So let's say it's kind of whatever you want to use. If you want to use the Delphi style or use the super seals, I think it's just preference. So of the builder, but that gives you the general idea of how all of this works. So with that, I think I'll clean up my mess here and call it good and get this thing up on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. Got a bunch of these videos coming up like this, and I hope you appreciated it and enjoyed it and learned a little something. Have a great day and a blessed day. Thank you.